We are Legion.
What's up, comic fam, and welcome to the Legion of Comics. We got a special live show for you today. We're here with a comic creator who's local to my hometown, and I'm excited to talk to him, so let's get started. So if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. Got a lot of cool content dropping constantly, so hit that notification bell so you know when new content comes out. Also about to be to that 300 subscriber mark, so I'll be doing a giveaway when that hits, and you don't want to miss out. So make sure you're a subscriber, because you have to be a subscriber to win the cool books that we'll be giving away. So without any further ado, let me bring in my guest. We have Mr. Curtis Specks Thompson, creator of Legacy of the View. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you,
awesome, man? Yeah, I'm glad to have a day off finally. The holidays definitely got the best of me.
The audio on my side is kind of choppy, but I mean, you sound good, so it might just bounce back in a minute.
Yeah, are you running YouTube at the same time? I'm glad to have a day off finally. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a delay to it.
Hold on. Let me see. Well, you sound great on YouTube. I guess it's my end, but we can go ahead.
Well, if you have it listening to YouTube at the same time, there's a long delay from where we're at versus what comes out on YouTube.
Yeah, it's choppy. Maybe let me see. My headphones would be better. Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah. So while he's checking his headphones, I went to my comic book store, my LCS, recently, a few weeks back, and the owner had given me a flyer for a local comic creator. He's got a couple of issues of his own book out. It's published through Specks. It's Specks Vision is the publisher. And he gave me this flyer and asked me if I wanted to check it out. And of course I did. And I hit him up on Instagram, and I met up with him here locally and picked up the first 2 issues of his book. He's got 2 issues out so far, and yeah, they're beautifully done. But I met up with him, and we've been trying to get a time and place to kind of get this together and see when we can talk about it and go from there. And yeah, it's again, his name's Curtis Thompson, and the name of the book is Legacy of the View, and it follows this young gentleman named Chaz. And I'm not going to get too much into it while we wait on him. But if you haven't already, go back, and I did drop an earlier video today for a new comic book release that comes out this week. It's an odd week for comics. DC still has books listed as coming out this week, but they released all of them last week. So there's not a lot of stuff coming out. But if you missed it last week, you can still go back and check it this week. And not much coming out from Marvel. A couple King in Black tie-ins, and not really much coming out from the indies either. So it's a good time to catch up on some back issues and whatnot. Well, it looks like he's getting his headphones lined up. Let's see how this
All right,
goes.
yeah, so a lot better now. I guess it was on my end. The issue was.
It happens, man. All right. So I just kind of did an overview of how I kind of came across your stuff, which I went to my local comic store, the Augusta Book Exchange, and Paul, the owner there, he knows I do the YouTube channel, and he threw one of these in my box, and I saw this, and it looked awesome. So I reached out to Curtis, and we met up here locally, because he does live in my hometown here, which is awesome. And I can definitely see how there's a lot of local influences that go into this book. You have a lot of looks like local talent as well that you give shout outs to all through your stuff.
Yes, I do.
Which is awesome. I'm big on that. People working together to get this stuff out to everybody. But tell us a little bit about yourself, how you come to enjoy comics.
Um, well, again, my name is Curtis Specks Thompson. I grew up in Augusta, Georgia. I'm My love for comics start like very young. Like one of my sister's friends actually worked at a comic shop in Augusta. I don't know, it was the book had changed back in the day, but it had to be way more back in the '90s. So at
You
least one
you
of
remember where it was at?
I don't know. I was so young. Like I remember like the first book she brought me was like it was like a, I want to say Gambit and like Bishop, like team up comic books, and like the early start of the Young Justice. So that
Dude,
gives you
that's
like
awesome.
a time frame when it was.
You know, my first job was at the Augusta Book Exchange also, but it was not that location. It was the location. They used to be right there in front of your job in that little shopping
Yeah.
strip.
See,
That was my first job.
I used to go there to buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Dragon Ball Z
Yeah,
cards back in the day. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So when did you decide that you wanted to create your own comic?
Well, I've been writing, how as a kid, you write stories like oh, I can write my own Dragon Ball Z character or my own X-Men. So I've been doing that, but like for like my own world, I'm just sitting talking to my fiance one day, and I telling her how I used to write, and she said I should go back doing it. Then then I started like writing, um, or coming up with concepts on my characters from high school and middle school, and I came across an article that said, don't write, um, don't write for Batman, write your own Batman, and I took that for being like if I wrote a story for Batman and submit it to DC, they wouldn't pick it up or make a story out of it because they already got Batman, they already got writers they use. So they were really looking for something new. So write a character that's like Batman or something new, and then they pick it up. So I decided to do that, and after that, I just started wanting to self-publish because I didn't want to give up my character to DC or Marvel if he does blow up, and
Yeah.
I lose control. I'd rather have my story finish how I wanted to finish or put off before any of that properties get changed.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, talking about your character, tell us a little bit about Chaz. Tell us about who he is and what he can do.
Okay. Well, in the Legacy of the View, I have a fictional world, which is really not fictional, but some stuff is different. So my universe, I call it Georgia, which stands for JAWAGA. Like how how we would
Georgia.
say, yeah, how we
Yeah.
would say down here, but so basically that's just Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, like back in like the Civil War times, how it really was. But if they never got broken up, so they still like one big section of Georgia, so that's still there. And heroes or people with superpowers, but in my book I call them powers. Uh, they are around, but it's more the best way I can explain it is like like the KKK, they're around, but people really don't talk about it like that. So that's like the best analogy I can say. Like it's a thing out there, and it comes up in the news every now and then, but people don't really talk about it. So superheroes and superpowers are around the world, but people don't talk about it. So Chaz, he's a high school student. He's currently a sophomore in these books, and he's a typical high schooler. He's a baseball player. He dances but make TikTok videos with his friends. He's an intern at his uncle's studio as a musical engineer, and basically that's what he wants to do. He wants to be in the studio, recording music, hanging out with his friends, playing video games, stuff like that. But he has a power, unlike anybody he's encountered so far, uh, that allows him to stop the villains of the story, the How, better than anybody else in the world. So like, let's say Superman came around trying to fight Hal. Yes, he can defeat him, but it wouldn't be as easy as it would be for Chaz, which he goes by the name The View, to
It looks like
defeat him.
he does have like a very special power set, which I think is really interesting. And it almost looks like his ability to do what he does is somehow similar to the Howls existing, like how the Howlers can bring in the smaller ones and everything.
Yes.
Kind of like how he can materialize his weapons, which is really cool.
Yeah. So basically, they have. I don't know if I explained it in the books or not, but they basically have the same power. Like him and the Howl have the same power, but his is different because let's say he can spawn a sword and it materializes for a minute and it goes away, where they can turn their body part into a blade like a sword and use that
Mm-hmm.
instead. So there's
And you see that
differences.
a lot. You see that a lot in that second issue. That second issue goes extremely hard.
Yes, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I had to bring it. So like third issue is going to be more of that going on. You can see how similar they are, but they're not. Then at the end of the second issue, I introduced a second group. Well, they're not. You don't see them as a group, but one of the characters there. The group is called the Silent, and they're basically the polar opposite of the Howl, and they also are antagonists to the View.
Yeah, I saw that little brief introduction of them at the very end of that second issue, which I think is cool. It's one of those things I love about comics, are just kind of cliffhangers or little crumbs that lead you into the next issue.
Mm-hmm.
And what's rough about the self-published stuff is the timeline that it takes for stuff to come out sometime. So I got lucky that when I found your stuff, there's already 2 issues. Now I'm sitting here on pins and needles ready for that 3rd issue, because you leave you leave a lot on the table to look forward to at the end of that second one.
Yeah.
So how hard is it to get stuff self-published?
Money wise, because I'm not professionally drawing the book. I have a artist named Yusef who's drawing it, making everything look pretty and prestigious, like you said earlier. It's hard because I had to write the story and write panels and how I want each panel, then give it to him. Then he has to actually see my vision to actually draw it. So that takes time. And just like this nitpicking stuff that happens, like like him on the bus. Like I was right, like, oh, have him sitting in the bus beside his friend, the same third. But he has the wrong friend there, or not enough people on the bus, so I had to constantly change back and forth. And he's in Nigeria, so it's a time issue. So it's like it's harder that way, and like money wise, right now we're like I'm just starting, so I'm paying his work for his time versus if I was a popular Indian creator, I guess I can say, hey man, yeah, we do this Kickstarter and we gonna split this Kickstarter 50-50, and he'll know my work and he'll be like, okay, yeah, he normally makes like 10,000 on Kickstarter, so yeah, that's 5,000. Yeah, I do it. So I don't have that credentials right now, so money wise, I'm coming out of pocket, but
Well,
I
Yusuf's done a
believe,
fantastic job with the artwork, man. He really has. And
yeah,
and not just the artwork itself, but the quality of the book, the paper quality, the print job that went on to it. It does not scream cheap at all. Like it's very high quality, man.
yeah, thank you. I mean, I tried like this whole year I've been buying other people Kickstarters, and I can see a difference in quality, and like some books I got like are like great quality. Like I just don't understand like where they get their stuff from. But then the other books I be like, oh, I see where they went this route for. They try to
Yeah.
squeeze more money out of it, but they should have gave the consumer more better
I think
product.
I've noticed a lot with Kickstarters that a lot of the creators on there really hope that people go for the digital option instead of the paper option for the purchase of the books. But I'm an old school reader myself. I do read some stuff digitally, but it's not the norm for me. I like to have the physical copy and really enjoy owning and holding the book and flipping through it and stuff. And
Yeah, I
this
mean,
reminds me of, like, all these are gloss pages too, man. They're
oh
really
yeah.
nice.
See, I learned about the gloss pages from I work in the entertainment industry. I'm a DJ and whatnot, and for like club flyers, you want that gloss on there so you can like put them out on the street, put them on people's cars and stuff. But the
Yeah.
gloss, like the water and the moisture in the air, doesn't affect it as much. But if I just illustrate paper, if your oil and your fingertips will mess it up easily and stuff like that. So I learned that from my other life. You know.
Now, where did some of your influences come from for this character? His style, his abilities.
Well, him and his friend Warren. He Warren is named in the first issue, and Warren is also he's sitting beside him in the second issue, I believe. I don't think he's actually has an actual talking part in the second issue. But him and Warren, they both was spoiler. Warren's gonna be somebody, but him and Warren was X-Men. I wrote them as X-Men. They was supposed to be a part of the young X-Men group. So um, the View, his powers, like he comes from like Gambit. Like I see him using like staffs and stuff like Gambit or Casey Jones. Like
Yeah,
he's more like Casey Jones now than he was about 10, 12 years ago. So he's gonna use more street items like the bats, the golf clubs, the stuff like a normal person would have
I
access
definitely
to.
noticed that when he's materializing his weapons, he's going straight for the gritty stuff, like
Yeah.
baseball bats and stuff. It's which I thought was really cool,
So
with the
like
exception of that really cool hook that he materialized in issue one, like right out the gate. That was awesome.
yeah, some stuff like because uh my story starts a year after him getting his powers, or I guess like a year after him being a hero. So I'm gonna do a backstory in later issues explaining that, but it's a year afterwards. So he went from being just a kid who is an athlete. He played basketball and he plays baseball. So he's already fit. So he wasn't like Peter Parker, a nerd and that couldn't fight. So he knew a little bit, but he eventually was trained by one of my characters called Boots, Katiara. She's in the second issue. Taught him a little bit of how to fight, and another character that I'm going to introduce taught him more about weapons, stuff like that, so he can give him feel to different enemies, because not everybody's gonna just be street level like him. He gonna have some people that's highly trained fighting as well, so it help him balance out. So like my influence from him are like Casey Jones, Gambit, but his powers really came from like Green Lantern and like Raven from the Teen Titans and stuff like that.
So you just froze up on me. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, about to say it just froze up for a second right after you said Gambit.
Yeah, so I said he's like
Yeah, it's kind of choppy coming through. You're talking about how his powers.
but yeah, I have a y'all can while he's coming back, y'all can check out the website, legacyoftheview.com. I had merchandise on there. I had the first and second issue. And I also have some bio stuff about the new villain I have, and also the about the view. All right, you back now? Can you hear me
Yeah,
better?
Yeah, I think that one was coming from my side. I just changed my internet source. You able to hear me all right?
Yeah, it's kind of low.
Okay.
Hold on, let me get my. All right.
So where I last heard you before it went a little wonky on me, apologize for that, was you're talking about how his powers were kind of like a mixture between different characters that you had noticed. And the
Yeah,
last one I really heard was Gambit.
yeah. So I'll say he's like Gambit and like Casey Jones, and
Yeah.
like his fighting style will be like them two, and his powers will be like the Green Lantern and Raven from Teen Titans.
Oh, nice. Hey, I can see that with the constructs and then kind of the source of the constructs as well, more like Raven.
Hmm. And the limits. Well, right now he has a short limit. Like everything he spawns, only stays for a minute. And I got that concept for where did I get it from? I want to say I got it from My Hero Academia. This character on there named Momo. She has the, basically the exact same power, but I just thought about like everything he creates. Like where would it go? Would it just stand there? So it'd be a whole bunch of items just never go away. So I just thought about like her power mixed with Spider-Man's web that it dissolves. So I had
Yeah.
to get a reason why it has to go away.
Well,
Cause
speaking of
not,
Spider-Man, one thing I thought was cool about Chaz was where Spider-Man has this whole concept with great power comes great responsibility, where he feels like he's motivated to go do something because he's able to. With Chaz, he kind of he obviously has that choice to make, but his powers kind of slap him in the back of the head when there's something that he needs to be doing, because he
yeah.
has that ability to sense the how, like when he was in the like with the green mist and everything.
Hmm.
So it's almost like even if he didn't decide to be a hero, he's still going to be burdened by his powers and that
Yeah.
that urge to do something with them.
And like the end of the story arc, you will see that more. Like the main villain, which is on the back of issue 2. You will see him terrorizing the city and doing his plan. And Chaz will be in school, and it'll be like a broadcast thing on TV, and you will see like the news broadcasting and saying this is going on, that's going on, and Chaz be like, hey, I don't want to do it. Then a superhero will come and fight, and he like, okay, they deal with him. Then something happened. Then he like, okay, well, I guess I got to do it. And before he does it, another superhero comes. So it's gonna be that same repeated process. A superhero come and try to stop him, and Chaz think he don't have to do anything, but eventually he knows he has to get up and do what he needs to do.
Now, how many characters do you already have that exist in Georgia? Because
Um,
we've seen Chaz obviously, and then we saw in the brief moment when he was thinking back on his instructor, we were introduced to his instructor. So how large is this universe for the view?
well, it's it meant like chronologically in that universe, it probably spans back to the '60s, I would say, but maybe more longer than that. But like the first one of my main characters, he's gonna be like an influence from the '60s. But like right now in the Legacy of the View, you just got I say 5 characters. You have to worry about until the rest are introduced.
Yeah.
Uh, like his I got one character called the Chief, which is really like the mentor character for Chaz, but he don't really want a mentor, but he is the mentor, and he comes from another series I would have called Fire Brigade Zero, which is about firemen, and you learn about him and his team on that, and that's about 10 years prior to the View, and Boots is his age. She's like a ninja type character, and they used to be teammates, but now they're not teammates because she wants to do her own thing, and she's not really into the hero thing. She's more of like a work for hire type person. Like stuff she do maybe like, how can I explain it more? She's like the Black Cat or Catwoman, Red Hood type character. Like some stuff that
Yeah, more
she
of a
does,
vigilante.
yeah, it's good. Some stuff is bad, but all in all, she's still a good person. But whatever dollar cents her.
Yeah.
And of course, Warren is his one of his best friends that he would never have his own series unless people like him. But he's more like a buddy cop situation with the View, and
Yeah.
he's a spoiler for that. But he's going to be like a werewolf type character.
Now you can see a lot of your influence come from hip hop in this. You have a lot of actual hip hop artists that make cameos in this, and you have the shout outs to them in the back. How
Yeah.
much of that came into play in the building of the world around this, with him being a technician in his uncle's studio and everything? And
Well, like I want to do so much more with the music in the book. I was already thinking about that prior to like Marvel. One point in time, they was dropping like hip hop covers variants,
yeah,
having
yeah, those were awesome.
like Eminem and Iron Man and the Kid Kingpin, like Birdman. So I got it from the concept from that, and I said, well, I'm actually gonna put him in the studio with these artists because he's making music. So the first two artists in the well, I have a teaser comic book as well, but it's 6 pages. But the first issue um, one artist, he's from here, but he done became famous and he moved on. And the other character is a Cash Money artist, so they was in the book. And just for like, he's always working. He's in the studio, so he's an intern, so he never knows who comes in the studio. Versus the second issue, I put local artists that people outside the city or even in the city might not know, but they have a collection of music and YouTube videos that people can look up and get reference to. But it's just like idea of like he's in the studio doing intern work, so he is never like he's gonna work with main artists, known artists all the time, or just the regular Joe who got 40-50 bucks to record in the studio.
Yeah. Now, did any of these guys know? Did they know ahead of time that they're going to be featured in your book?
For the teaser issue, the two guys, no, they didn't. But I worked with them before. We did a song and a video together. So I was trying to promote myself, put them in the comic book as well, because
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I
If you're not going to be your fan, you can't expect no one else to be.
Yeah,
you got to be your number one fan.
Then the first issue, just using my resources, like man, I need and that extra, for my comic book. So I asked a friend of mine for a favor, and he contacted the artist, and they gave me the green light to use me in the book, and I put him in. Um, it went well. I didn't want to ask too much for him, like, hey man, put this on your Instagram or stuff like that, but they appreciated it and all that, and they let me use their names and their song or whatever.
That's awesome.
Then for the second issue, I actually ran a contest on my social media about like look for local artists, and whoever won got to be in it. And actually, for the first guy who won, I mean, I don't know what happened. Like he won, and when it came time to do it, he wasn't very involved. So I went with the runner up.
Well, I thought that was an awesome way to get other local creators, whether it be comics, music, whatever, involved in a project. Because I mean, comics have ads in them. Most comics have ads in them, and it's awesome to be able to use that space to promote other people's content and just get your stuff out there in more areas.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, where can people find your comics?
You can find all of them on the legacyoftheview.com, the title of the comic book .com. And that's physical and digital. I got t-shirts and posters on there and some other information about my characters on there as well. Or if you have a Kindle account, you can get the first issue digitally from Amazon. I I put there up there at first, but just being in the industry, I learned that it'd be easier to just do everything on my own IP. So everything is on the website.
Awesome. And I also have links to your Instagram account and your Facebook account where you can see some preview stuff or some images from your book, and where people can get a hold of you if they want to, especially if you're local, if you want to buy hard copies direct, just reach out to Curtis. And yeah, he was quick to respond and excited to get me these books, and I was very excited to get a hold of them. And I'll add the link to your website in the description when we get done.
And how was your overall response? Since you're locally out, I don't know everybody locally how their books are. How was your response to my book compared to other people in the area?
I don't know if I have any other local creators stuff. This is the first one that I came across that I reached out to check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. There's about, I think 2013 was the last time that I picked up a local Augusta person's book. And if you go to the Augusta Book Exchange where I got your flyer card from Paul, he has an actual shelf in there where people put more local content on. And there's a book called Wolvern, and it's like a kind of like a Western werewolf style thing. And again, this is almost 10 years ago. And I got the issue 1, and then I actually ran into the guy who did it at the Heroes Convention in North Carolina. And they really did. I don't know what they did from there, but one guy was writing it, one guy was drawing it. Both of them were local, and it was the artist that I talked to a few times. And I even got a Hulk art print from him. And that was about the only other local Augusta thing that I ever checked out. And that being said, this book is way cleaner, way more professionally put together. I know that resources to do stuff like that changes so fast with the times, but this was a cleaner looking book, a smoother reading book than that one was. But yeah, the my impression from this is this thing looks professionally done, man. This is a lot of time, effort, and energy went into this. And I'll tell you, just honestly, that second issue reads a lot smoother than that first issue, like a lot smoother.
Yeah, I had to hire a letterer for the second issue because my only negative comment about the first issue I got was that the flow of how it read, which something I didn't understand. I still don't quite understand it, but I guess just I don't know, but I just spend a little bit more money on letterer, and the letter, like where he placed everything was better. He had me cut out certain words and add more words here and there, and it came out being a whole lot better. And I'm gonna hire him again for the third issue, the fourth issue as well. So yeah.
Well, he did his job. He definitely did. And I hadn't really thought about it till now, but being that you wrote it, if you're reading it, you probably have the exact flow, whether you're conscious of it or not, because it's all laid out in your head already,
Yeah.
But that second issue read so much smoother. If I had to criticize anything about the book, it would just been that word flow of the first issue. Mm-hmm. There was a lot, because the way that you're presenting the stuff, which is I mentioned earlier, which is really cool, how it starts out a year after he's committed to being like these powers and doing something with them. So there's a lot of unknown for the reader. So the way that the reader's getting introduced to how he's doing his powers and what he's doing is all through his actions of fighting the Howl, or either in the brief dialogue where he's like how he got introduced to his mentor, where he's thinking back what she's going to do. So it just all presented a lot smoother in that second issue. So I for a local creator comic, I would give that second issue an 8 for sure, and I would give that first issue about a 6 on just the merits of the wording.
Hey, but that works with me, man.
He did his job. He definitely did. Mm-hmm. And I think there's the awesome aspect of knowing that it's local, because I was catching like those little references, like the Georgia thing. I'm like, nice. And I loved how you didn't waste any space. The inside of that first cover was that news report in that second one,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that. As soon as I saw that ATL news, I'm like, nice. And then as soon as I got to that second panel, I'm like, oh my god, he's really committing to going hard in the second issue right out the gate. With the way the first one ended, you didn't really see any. You saw the Howl get it really good, but you didn't see what they're really capable of or how savage they could possibly be. And the second issue, especially with that 2-page spread that you did, it really committed to how just how fierce these guys are about to be or how hard this story's about to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was really impressed with it. Yeah, that 2-page spread of them in the hotel, that was wild. I just
Yeah,
started looking around. I'm like, okay, there's a lot to be seen in that spread, and I love the size difference of the two Howls.
yeah.
The way that you
Uh,
can tell apart, really, that was really cool.
yeah. Like I kept one like little. I guess you would call it more enforcers, maybe the bigger ones,
Yeah,
and the smaller
yeah.
ones like little minions. Yeah.
And there's a lot of, and I love the information pages that you did. Like it it almost gives me like the concept that there's like a bigger group of people somewhere. That how well, like you saw the silent at the end and the way that he's dressed and everything. It almost looks like he's not a solo act. I don't know why. It looks like kind of like a league of something kind of thing. And the
Yeah.
way that
There.
you do your information pages, it definitely implies that there's a group somewhere that has this information that's being presented to us.
Yes. If you check out the website, I have a additional tab, but I have I haven't really thought of a name for it yet, but there's the FBI division, and
Yeah,
the agent Bailey from the second issue. He's over that division or the lead detective for the division. I haven't really decided what he'll be, and he's documenting all these supernatural things that happen within the last year or so, and so basically you seeing his case files and information because he's been assigned a job to take care of all of that because on the flip side, there's an anti superpower force that's going against them that the government wants to put money behind, but of course everybody's not evil, so he's trying to
yeah.
prove that not everybody's evil, that some people are good. But
Dude,
it's a bigger picture for that for him, and that's a huge spoiler. I don't want to spoil right now.
dude, big picture wise, in 2 issues, you managed to lay out so many characters that have so much more information for me as the reader that's wanted, that's needed. Like that
Mm-hmm.
FBI guy you introduced at the end, uh, the actual nemesis that you introduced at the end, the actual origins of his powers, the fact of how he was trained and his backstories. Where did the Howl come from? How did he acquire these powers? So it's got me hooked at this point. That first issue, I was iffy. I'm like, I wonder how well this is going to play out, and as there's like I said, it started so already in the midst of it, and I was wanting so much explanation and so many questions answered because I was just absolutely curious. And I
Mm-hmm.
see how you started feeding those answers a little more in that second issue. And what I think I enjoyed even more than the answers was how many more questions you introduced too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really just it let me know how large of an of a concept you have here to work with, which I'm really excited. I'm definitely going to be getting that third issue from you,
Yeah,
probably the day it comes out.
I got my writing style. It's just right now my mind's went blank, but it's not Michael Business, but he wrote, I believe, the X-Men recently, where like he basically wrote his stories backwards. I can't think of the writer name, but he knew how the ending was, and he wrote it backwards. So like I thought about that, like yeah, like I know how it's going to end, but now I just gotta write the fluff in the middle of it. So like I can put all the information because I know where I want to end my story at. So I just gotta build all the meat in between to that point.
Talking about, talking about the current X-Men writer who kind of relaunched them about a year ago.
I want to say the one who did the time frame of the X-Men versus Avengers storyline. I want to say him. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, yeah. That was about 5-6 years ago, I think.
But
I'm not sure with that.
the current stories, they're good too. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I lean heavily toward DC Comics, and
Okay.
it's not because DC's crushing it over Marvel right now, because that's definitely not the case sales numbers wise. But I've just always enjoyed those characters more. Like I grew up in the '90s, like I'm an '80s baby, so my introduction to superheroes was like the Batman movies, especially at least movie wise. But we had like those awesome cartoons in the '90s with the X-Men cartoon, the Spider-Man cartoon, and all
Hmm.
that stuff. So I think that I got a little bit like Venomed out and X-Mened out. So like there's a huge Venom craze going on right now, but I'm just not into it for some reason.
So
I
are
am
you
reading The King in Black, but
so are you more into the Ghostmaker thing with Batman or the dark metal? Is that more?
the death metal stuff has been really fun for me because like if you're not completely like neck deep in DC Comics, that death metal stuff's going to be hard to follow, very very hard to follow. But I am like I got the continuity for DC on lock, so it's been really enjoyable for me. About issue 5, I kind of got fatigued of it, but I see where they're going now, so I'm excited for this little future state initiative they have, and I'm ready for it all to end just to get to what's next. But
Okay, okay.
the Ghostmaker thing, Tynan's been introducing tons of characters throughout his little run on Batman, and I like the Clown Hunter more than Ghostmaker. Ghostmaker, as soon as he did it, I told everybody this is just filler story, and he didn't deliver on the last little story arc for it. It kind of bummed me out.
Well, like with the Clown Hunter, I think he's gonna be Red X. I think that's going
You
to
think?
be. I think
Dude, that
so.
didn't register. That did not register for me. At first, when they started announcing all this, and we knew that the next Batman had his identity hidden because of how Christopher Nakano is governing Gotham with no vigilantes and everything, I was wondering if they were going to let Clown Hunter fill the role as Batman because of how everything went with Clown Hunter being a murderer right now and Batman trying to rehabilitate him. I
Hmm.
thought maybe it would have been like a success story where he failed with Jason Todd. He might have succeeded with Bao. But dude, I didn't think about that. That's even cooler if he's the Red X. Like that's really cool.
Now, I can't think of who's a new Nightwing, but I can see him as being Red X.
Yeah, that would be awesome if Batman failed completely in rehabilitating him, and it just the progression of him not being able to salvage that
Yeah,
person. Dude, that I don't know why that hasn't clicked with me yet. That I feel like I just had 4 light bulbs. Come on, man. Now I'm even more excited for this. Yeah,
yeah,
I get all fanboy geeky when it comes to speculating on where these stories are going to go. I'm not big on buying and flipping comics and speculating on what's going to be a huge cash cow. I don't really. I've sold like 4 comics in my life, and that was some recent books that just came out. But I get goofy when it comes to talking about and guessing where these stories are going to go, man.
yeah. Like only comic book I really go out and buy is the Power Rangers comics. Like they got me hooked.
Did you say Power Rangers to me?
Yes.
I've got to turn this and show you. Like I have a room where all my comics are kept, but all my Power Ranger books sit right there.
Oh
4 short
man.
boxes of them because huge Ranger fan. I have all of them all the way back to the Hamilton comics. I don't know if you can see my wall right there, but those
Yeah.
are all just my signed Clayton Crane Power Ranger books right there. And up top is my issue 0 and my John Jang variant. Yeah, huge Power Ranger fan.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's morphin' time. 24/7 in my house. Yeah. Love me some Rangers. My wife even got me a Power Ranger shirt for Christmas.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's love.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. My son, we did a Power Ranger birthday for him this last November. It was good times. If you enjoy Power Rangers, if you're reading those books, we should talk way more often. Way more
Yeah.
often. Yeah. Boom. Go Power Rangers. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot. We talk Rangers a lot on my channel. You should definitely
If I
hop
if I
on.
if I ever was gonna write for a studio, it would be for Boom. I want to write storyline where Rocky he goes evil, or a storyline where Billy he actually became the Phantom Ranger.
Oh, nice. Let me ask you this: who do you think the new Green Ranger is?
I think it's Kimberly's boyfriend.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's pretty obvious that it's Matthew Cook at this point.
Yeah.
There's really no one else it could be. I don't know if you noticed it, but back in like issue 52 or 53, before they split the series, when Billy and Grace were in Promethea talking about like setting up the power for the new Green Ranger, and she had the candidates behind her of people that she has trained and potential people who wield the power. They had the VR troopers listed on the board.
Oh,
I
that's
thought that was
crazy.
really cool. Yeah, do you remember the VR troopers from back in the day?
I actually do remember them, and I actually just seen that Netflix has them on their website.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That was really cool. All right, man. Well, I'm about to get back to the day. First day off from the holidays here. I got a lot to do. And I appreciate you coming on here and talking this up. And dude, if you're down for it, when you get ready to launch that issue 3, we should do it again and let everybody know it's coming out and where to find it.
I think I'm cut out though, but I will do, man. I will come back in here, chat with you, man. Tell me issue 3 and talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. I'll sure do that.
Well, you're still live on YouTube and on my end, so you're still good to go. The StreamYard thing can get kind of hiccupy every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And also, man, I do a live hangout show every Sunday night about 9 o'clock. So you're more than welcome anytime you want to just hang out and video chat and talk these books that we're reading. It'd be awesome to have you on. I kind of just kind of reach out and see who's available and who wants to come chat with me. So I'm glad that I found another person who's into these books like I am.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm into
awesome.
it.
Well, thank you so much, man. And everyone who's watching, be sure to check out his stuff. The channel link, his content links will be in the description. I'll add his website to it. And yeah, be sure to hit that like and subscribe on the way out. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. And thanks again, Curtis.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.